Hey everybody, welcome to the video. Michael Bunker here. I'm heading back to the office, and I wanted to do a quick video. I'm not going to do this as part of my live, just because it's not going to be very long. Hopefully not as long as some of my live videos, but it's going to be part of my How to Think series. And I've been receiving some comments and messages every once in a while, and as most of you know, if you've watched this channel for very long, one of my big things is that people need to moderate their certainty. And so I've covered a lot of this information in bits and pieces on different live videos, but I wanted to have it all in one place so that I could direct people to it. So how do you know things? People leave me comments or they send me messages just with absolute certainty about something that they could not possibly know. And it's difficult to try to explain to them why they couldn't possibly know what it is they're asserting with such certainty. And so what I'm going to do is kind of walk you through the kind of things you should go through, you should know when you're gathering information, making decisions, opining, commenting, that will help you, first of all, be right more often, to not make mistakes, to not spread bad information, and just to overall be right more. So welcome to the video. Let's get to it. All right, I'm down here at the office, and we're going to talk a little bit about how to know things, part of our How to Think series. Welcome everybody to the video. I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you haven't already done it, make sure that you hit the like button, subscribe if you're feeling generous, and hit the bell icon so that you can get notifications whenever I go live or whenever I put up a video. All right, so like I said, a lot of people comment or send me messages, and sometimes I just see posts, and people are asserting things, one thing or another, and there are logical fallacies embedded in what they're talking about, or they've just assumed something is true that they couldn't possibly know. And so because of that, a lot of people make mistakes. People do that in their life. They make decisions based on false information. And as I've talked about on my live videos a lot, I'm a conspiracy theorist just because I'm too smart to be a coincidence theorist, but I don't buy everything that comes down the pike. You have to think about things. So one of the things we've talked about in my live videos quite a lot, and in this How to Think series, is Occam's razor. Now, I don't want to get into a dictionary definition of Occam's razor. That's just going to confuse people. Basically, it's just a way of looking at information and making an assumption or making a decision on what you think is most likely to be true based on the information that's been presented. And what you can do is you can see, usually, Occam's razor says, the solution or the position that has the fewest number of assumptions is most likely to be the correct one. And that's not exactly a definite dictionary definition, but it's close enough. So just keep that in mind when I mention Occam's razor later on in the video. All right, so as I mentioned, a couple of people, they'll make a comment and they'll make an assertion, such as, for example, that a virus was manufactured and produced as a weapon to be released or whatever, And what I generally try to do is first of all, when somebody makes a statement like that, you can put down as one of the options that it could be true. It's totally possible. It's a possibility that it could be true. However, how many assumptions is somebody making when they make an assertion like that? They're not couching their assertion in like, well, what if, or maybe this happened. They're just stating it as an absolute fact when it's something they cannot possibly know. So I just wanted to take you, I haven't written anything down. I don't have any notes. Just take you through some steps when you run into information. It could be anything. And some steps you can go through to help you make better decisions and to better calculate if you actually know something or if it's just something that you think or you feel, etc. So one of the first things you want to do is you want to look at the statement or the posit, and you want to ask yourself, how many assumptions went into this position, went into this statement that the person making it cannot possibly know? Now, there's a lot of things that go into that. For example, if your mother came to you and told you her best friend saw a dinosaur, a real Tyrannosaurus Rex, appear in the Walmart parking lot, you might just automatically reject that, but your mom might really believe it. Maybe your mom is on social media and she's saying that her friend saw a dinosaur, a Tyrannosaurus Rex, just appear in the Walmart parking lot. It sounds ludicrous, and it is, but this is the kind of things that people say on social media, or people send in comments, and you're like, do you really know that that happened? First of all, you don't want to automatically assume that the person telling you something is lying. They could be lying, but they don't know they're lying. They don't know that the information is false. They're sharing false information and they don't know it. The second thing is that this is secondhand information. So your mom got it from her friend. You don't know the friend, perhaps, or even if you do, now you've got two unknowns as to whether or not the information being shared is accurate or true. Now you can ask yourself, is it likely that a Tyrannosaurus Rex appeared in the Walmart parking lot? Not likely at all. Occam's razor piles up here and all the assumptions that are being made, and we don't know what really happened. And so the best thing to do after you've gone through this, you don't want to accuse your mother of being a liar, but you also don't want to share false information just because you got it from somebody who you love and trust. You might ask a few questions or you might not. Maybe you want to dismiss it out of hand. It's not going to hurt you to dismiss it out of hand, but you also want to do that respectfully if you can. And that's like a pretty extreme example, but I'm just trying to tell you how you can go through these steps to make sure that you're making good decisions. You are thinking about things, and you're actually examining what you actually know. What is it to know something? Just because somebody saw something, just because somebody claims an anecdotal evidence that it happened to them or something like that, does not mean that it's true. We've examined on the Bunker Live here at the Bunker Nation the phenomenon of false memories, how false memories can be planted, how people will go on the stand in a court and will testify to things that never happened, but they actually really believe that they did because somebody planted a false memory. This can happen in accident scenes, it can happen in crime scenes, it can happen with eyewitnesses. These kind of things happen, and they're actually pretty prevalent. So we don't automatically accept firsthand anecdotal evidence as true. You still have to go through a whole series of examinations or understandings to try to figure out if what somebody saw or they're saying that they saw actually happened. For example, there was a guy that I used to do some work with. He was a real piece of work, but he sat around the fire one day and was telling us that as a young man, he had some inkling, some spiritual inkling that he needed to get rid of all of his rock and roll records, and they piled him in a big pile and they lit him on fire. And demons or angels came flying out and they saw them. They all saw him, and he swore up and down this was true. I was able to dismiss this for quite a few reasons. Number one, he was a pathological liar. He lied quite a lot. Number two, the Bible, which I do accept as an authority, maybe you don't, but the Bible tells us a lot about angels and demonic beings, and they don't behave like that. The scripture is very clear about it. Just because you see something or you think you see something or you have some kind of fevered dream doesn't mean that it's some spiritual reality. All right. And so there was a lot of reasons for me to be able to reject this story as untrue. I'm not trying to just give you examples that are really, really far out, but a lot of the things people say, a lot of comments people make are pretty far out and they don't even realize it. And so going back to the very first example, that perhaps a country created a virus in a factory and released it, could have happened. The thing that you have to be able to admit to yourself is you don't know that, and I don't know that. To actually know something, you need to have some unimpeachable evidence that it's true. People produce evidence all the time. They make photocopies of fake documents. They create fake documents on computers. They share things that are perhaps somebody, an insider, created because they had their own political agenda. There's a million reasons that people will put out false information. People on your side of the fence, of your political point of view, will create falsities because they believe so much in what they're doing. They believe that something true is true and they want to convince more people, and they'll actually create evidence. And sometimes they even do it unconsciously. So just because you want something to be true, just because it's coming from your side of the fence or your political ideology, does not mean that you know that it's true. And not knowing that something's true means that it has to be couched in language that tells people that you don't know if it's true or not. And if you don't do that, then you're going to end up being wrong a lot. You're going to end up making mistakes. You're going to make decisions based on information that turns out to be false. So much of the patriot movement, militia movement, the left-wing, what do you want to call it, resistance movement, is based on information that passes around within their groups, these very insulated groups, that's completely and utterly false or easily debunked. And so we don't want to be that way. One of the people ask me all the time, how do you get so many things right over so many years? How have you been able to say, you know, it's likely that this is going to happen, and then it happens? Well, first of all, I couch my language in uncertainty. Because I believe something's going to happen, I can say that I believe it's going to happen, and I can give you the reasons, and I can make arguments that are well-founded based on logic and reason, but I still say, perhaps that's not going to happen. Perhaps the information that I received is false. Perhaps what I have done is I've gotten off 1 degree way back here, and I ended up making a wrong assumption or a wrong statement. It happens. But if you couch it in language that tells people that you're not sure, you're not absolutely certain, then at least you have that. You haven't misled somebody. You haven't had anybody go out and make decisions in their life that's based on bad information. So much of what circles or circulates in social media is just false. It's just bad information. And people will share information that they want to be true, that they believe to be true, or that hurts their enemies or their political opponents, just because they absolutely are in the midst of what they think is a battle, and they have to use whatever weapons are available. And we don't want to be like that. So how to think. Anytime you run into information, anytime you run into a conversation, somebody relates a story, somebody hands something off to you, somebody sends you a news article, somebody sends you a video, you have to stop and examine all of the suppositions that went into it and ask yourself, what do I really know? What do I know absolutely with 100% certainty? And if it's not 100% certainty, by the way, go watch my video on time travel robots. You're almost never going to be 100% certain of anything, even if you were a personal eyewitness. So if it's not 100% certain, then make sure that you add that in to your suppositions, to your opinions. Not that you have to be wishy-washy on everything that you say, but make sure that you yourself in your mind are adding in this level of uncertainty so that you don't overcommit, you don't make mistakes, you don't share bad information, you don't become a propaganda mill for people with an agenda. And that's basically what I wanted to talk about in this video. I hope that it's helped you. I hope if you have any questions at all, you're going to put them down in the comments section and just let me know what you think, or if you have any questions or comments or whatever. If you have videos, suggestions of things you'd like me to talk about, logic, reason, how to think, any of those things, anything we cover on the Bunker Nation show, make sure you put those things in the comment section. Please, please, please subscribe. We're trying to get over 2,000 subscribers. Hopefully we're going to do that here pretty soon. And if you will, please hit the like button and comment in the video, even if you don't have anything to say. Just if you put a comment in there, it helps with the YouTube algorithm. All right, everybody, I got to go. I appreciate you guys tuning in. This is a short video, but I think it'll help a lot of people. How to think. Tune into the Bunker Nation. Make sure if you're subscribed, you hit that bell icon so when I go live, which is 2 to 3 times a week, you'll get a notification and you'll get to sit in and ask questions if you want, and you can ask them live. Thank you. I'll talk to you later. God bless. I'll talk to you soon.